Appreciate David. Thank you so much. I love that how you phrase it. Be the change. Speaking of which, and speaking of change, let me introduce you today. Topic about the metaverse. Thank you so much, dear Rotman, for inviting me to talk roughly 5 minutes about this so vast topic, the metaverse and its opportunities. And I actually would like to kick off things with a specific date. In 1995, David Letterman interviewed Bill Gates. He had a series of questions, almost dismissive and definitely ironical question about what is the internet. Let's listen a couple of seconds into it. Not sure as we are having a technical challenge. Let's try it again. Okay, given the time here, David Letterman, for those who have seen it, let me repeat it real quick. He was like, why do you need the internet, right? Why do you need the internet for to watch a baseball game, right? Is it enough that we have the radio, right? And what he meant, right? And then everybody starts laughing. Bill Gates started laughing, right? What he meant that why are the current actually tools no longer enough? So 30 years ago, we were laughing about the internet, right? And then 20 years ago, we were smiling and kind of concerned about social media. Now, today, we are kind of questioning the metaverse. Now, these innovation cycles, ladies and gentlemen, right? What they have in common are three things. One, the previous tools have reached their limits. Number two, technology has advanced in parallel. And number three, consumers have evolved into their needs. If we translate that, Web 2, defined as social media, loyalty programs, e-commerce, has reached its limits. And Web 3 is its evolution. And now we are reinventing commerce, social media, loyalty program with this title called the Metaverse. How did I get into that? My name is Tommaso Di Bartolo, a serial entrepreneur based out of Silicon Valley, with 4 startups to exit, a 2-times author, and the most recent book being Navigating the Metaverse. The pleasure to co-author with Kathy Eckel and Dirk Lueth will be talking right after me. I teach entrepreneurship at UC Berkeley with a focus on the Web3 and the Metaverse, and I invest in the Web3 startups and therefore being part of advisory boards of startups, right? And I would like to take the couple of minutes to share actually where do we stand as of today with this topic of the metaverse by taking a glimpse on a couple of things that are happening out there. For instance, back in March 2022, Decentraland hosted the Metaverse Fashion Week. It was a 4-day digital fashion event that staged wearables and virtual runways. And not only did we have a lineup of legacy luxury brands, but also digital brands, right? Let's shift things into another type of a metaverse, this time a centralized one. And let's talk about the Nike and Roblox, which has hosting actually the Nike Land into the Nike, the showroom, right? The shoppers can deck out their personal metaverse avatars with a virtual collection of Nike shoes, clothes, and accessories. And last but not least, let's talk about real quick another example here. And I see the video is still loading, but let me continue. The Sandbox, in partnership with Planet Hollywood, where you can find in the Sandbox, a decentralized metaverse, the IP about anything Hollywood. And this IP is a digital asset, also known as NFT, that the community can buy and then sell, right? So what do these cases have actually in common, these things that we call the metaverse? They have roughly 3-4 things in common. On one hand, and you see here usability experience from Upland, Dirk will talk about that in a second. They are gamified, meaning in-app engagement and retention mechanics, right? What they also have in common is geolocation. You will find fantasy maps or mirroring planet Earth maps, and you are invited to those locations in order to do what? In order to join an event that is always mission-oriented. It's always about one specific topic, right? And usually within this topic, what you're able of doing is you can buy these unique digital assets called NFTs and then resell them and collect them and have them basically as artwork. At this point, we will ask ourselves, Well, Tommaso, is this what the metaverse is? Kind of. We need to embrace the fact that we are in early adoption curve, meaning similar to any other early adoption, such as social media, right? We have pioneers that start out a new market, right? Who of you remembers ICQs in the 90s? Napsters, Friendsters, what did they do? They paved the market, ladies and gentlemen, for LinkedIn's, the Facebook, the YouTube, and the Tumblr and Pinterest of this world, right? History does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme, says Mark Twain. Well, what's the rhyme between social media and the metaverse evolution? Or should I say the gaming status quo metaverse evolution? Well, again, we are trying out new business model, new monetization model, new immersive experience. And I like to compare actually the year 2022 and the bear market with the year 2001, meaning there is a lot still to happen, and early adopters are paving the market towards it, right? When we talk about the metaverse evolution, I break it down in three phases. Where are we at right now? A lot of gamified environment out there are very focused on NFTs and transactional NFTs. They build a community and they are testing their performance. This is slowly evolving and maturing into an economy. Now, what's the economy in there? Well, they're inviting brands. They contribute towards those gamified environment. NFT are becoming more utility. You can still not import, and export the NFTs. And those are primarily games, blockchain-based games, also known as dApps, decentralized application. But Tommaso, when is it that we reach mass market? Well, we are reaching mass market when we are going to have a seamless integration into our real life. Welcome Phygital, the extension of our real life, extending places, people, and products, especially with augmented reality, so that you have a cross dimensions experience interconnected with commerce, and IP can have basically at the center of all this their commerce strategy working hand in hand with the end user. As long as we look at the metaverse as a place that we need to single sign on to play in and to get rewarded, we're looking at a Web3 opportunity just with Web2 lenses. For those who would like to know more, I've been asked to take my UC Berkeley course Beyond UC Berkeley, almameta.xyz. As a matter of fact, take your phone, please. Are invited here to scan this code, and we are giving away one license for a 7-hour metaverse course. And with that, and without further ado, I would like to pass it to Dirk. Dirk, my buddy, how are you?
All right. Hey, hello, everyone. I'm also here from Silicon Valley. Tommaso, great presentation, as always. And thank you, Rotman School of Management, to have me. So hopefully my video is going to work. So I'm going to talk about a concrete use case of Upland. And we are actually rebuilding the world. That means we are mapping our metaverse to the real world. And I have a short video and I hope it works now. Looks like, whatever reason, in the test, everything has worked, but now the video is not working. Okay, then I do it shorter. So Upland is, when I say it's mapped to the real world, we were originally inspired by the game of Monopoly and has actually launched in 2020. Today, a team of 130 people. We sold so-called NFTs, over 4 million. We have 3 million registered users. And, nice thing is, we've been growing quite nicely. We're already profitable and raised some money in last year at a $300 million valuation. So we're building really the most, what we say, dynamic and fastest growing metaverse economy, right? So in the metaverse, people actually buying land. Yeah. So, and why are they buying land? Because it's one part of, let's say, the macroeconomic function, what you need to have to produce something. You need to produce it somewhere, right? And so today, Upland has roughly, a little bit less than 300,000 landowners, which makes us right now 5 times larger as, the 3 next blockchain platforms combined. What is the secret sauce of our success, right? from beginning, we always said, okay, we want to really target, the average user, right? The non-crypto aficionados, right? That was very important. So that means today you can download Upland in the iOS or Android store. You can use it on the web. We avoiding complicated crypto mechanics that you need to have a private keys and wallets, because you're losing most of people then. We allow users to pay with a credit card or PayPal. They can also extract monetary value by selling digital goods to others for US dollars. I come to that in a moment. And what is very important, since we're US based, we're really US regulatory compliant. One misconception is always people think, oh, do I need now to wear a headset to go into the metaverse? No, you don't need to do that, right? Not in ours, not in other metaverse parts of the metaverse, right? It's all about a socioeconomic environment which you dive in. And let's see what that means actually to dive into Upland. So when you dive in Upland, you download the app from the App Store, or you just use your web browser, and you see right now we are actually live in 20 cities in the US, including also we have also live in Porto in Portugal and in Rio de Janeiro, because we have brand deals closed there which we're working together with. But you don't have to be in those cities to actually play the game or be in the metaverse. So you get this little map here. You can see here San Francisco. You zoom in, and then actually you see lots of dots. That means those in the streets, those are properties which are getting sold. But if I zoom a little bit further in, you see actually people have started building houses, skyscrapers, and other buildings on top of their properties. And when I click on one of those little green squares there, I actually get to purchase that property from another player who's called Green Turtle, and he sells that property to me for 250,000 APEX, and we have a fixed exchange rate. $1 equals 1,000 APEX. You can buy it actually for $215. And then, because we were inspired by Monopoly, is you can start collecting properties which are maybe on the same street, have the same characteristic, or the three museums, which are a little bit harder to get. The harder they are, actually, the more income you earn on those properties. And our economy is quite thriving. As I said, we are live in 20 cities right now. We have a partnership with the Samba School in Rio de Janeiro. That's the reason we launched Rio just this year, and also Porto in Portugal. We have a partnership with FC Porto, which is the Portuguese soccer champion, and that's the reason we launched Porto. But the important thing in Upland is, even though you cannot just beam yourself, let's say, from San Francisco now to Rio, what you need to do is actually need to take a plane to get there. It takes money and time to be there. But what do people do in the Upland metaverse? So here's a few examples. First of all, of course, we saw that they're building houses, right? Which is quite important. They will be able to run, or they can already play what we call treasure hunts. They can buy cars. They can use cars, go from A to B, or they can fire up car racing, right? So these are all the things you can do. But what is so important in every metaverse is that you think always about the community, people who are like-minded, who want to come together and do things. And one interesting thing we're seeing people coming together in San Francisco, maybe in creating the new art district. Other people are coming together, maybe in San Francisco to talk more, in other parts of San Francisco to talk more about financial topics, or Manhattan, or they talk about soccer, or they talk about football, and lots of other things. But it's always important to go bottom up and to work with your community first. And at the end of the day, Upland is a platform where we call it for builders. So what we say, Upland is also the entrepreneurial metaverse. We allow users to run and operate businesses in Upland. So, for instance, when you want to sell outdoor decor items like a virtual water fountain, a jacuzzi, or whatever, however people want to beautify their properties, they can do that by going into your shop, right? So for that, you can actually run and operate a shop. You need to create those, and these are then the creators, like designers. They actually come up with interesting models, right? It can be a house, can be, as I said, the jacuzzi, right? So these are people who are actually making money already today in Upland, and so a few of them already have started. I'm quitting my daytime job. I'm just going to make money now virtually. Then we also have developers. So when you know how to code, you can actually start building your own application on top of Upland, your own experience. People go into a property in San Francisco, and then this experience would open. And last but not least, we're working with lots of brands. We have a partnership with the NFL Player Association, for instance. I mentioned Porto, Samba School. We have lots of other partners we're going to announce soon, which you all heard, very big household names, who are coming now and entering the metaverse. What is very important is that we're all about the open metaverse, so people can import and export NFTs into our world from other blockchains, because obviously we're blockchain based. But eventually, what is so groundbreaking now is in the future, people will be able to take their assets and go from one world to the other, take their identity. That's also because there will be multiple, you saw that just in Tommaso's presentation, there will be multiple platforms for the metaverse, but not each time when you want to go there, you want to buy a new car. You want to take your car. You want to take your identity to the other metaverse. And that's why we actually started the Open Metaverse Alliance for Web3 with 100 registered companies. And you can actually join it as well if you're interested under www.oma3.org. Last but not least, we are all caring about the environment. We care about the world, and we are really using a very low carbon footprint. In the long run, we want to be also carbon negative. So this is basically everything you can find out about Upland on www.upland.me, or just ping us on Partner Upland. So, and then I hand over to Tommaso. I think we have 1 or 2 minutes also to talk.
Phenomenal, Dirk. Always great to chat about the future, right? And maybe we start out. We have roughly 3 minutes, right, before we hand over to Linda, right? And what was it in April, May last year, right? We sat together and saying, "Wow, we need education about the metaverse." And I remember vividly that the entire market was actually back then talking about non-fungible tokens, right? And this was really going through the roof, and nobody was around the metaverse. We started writing with Kathy Hackle, our third co-author, right? And then what happened? You want to share a sentence or two?
Yeah, it was funny, right? Then the publishing house Wiley contacted us, and they really wanted to publish the book. And I mean, today we were super proud. It came out. We launched it in May this year, and became a bestseller on Amazon. But what we truly helping is to understand lots of conceptions and misconceptions also of the metaverse. Because what we have seen, because we've been asked by many brands, by scholars, by lots of people, okay, what is this metaverse? How does it work, right? And we were repeating over and over again. So we decided, let's write this book, right, and help people to understand it a little bit more in a more quicker way, right? And especially when you think about brands, right? What do you think about, how should brands, maybe, I mean, we have very little time, but how should they tackle, the metaverse topic from your perspective, Tommaso?
Yeah, that's always one of the frequent asked questions, right? What is the strategy that somebody should apply in a digital environment when a metaverse, right? When entering the metaverse, right? We roughly are looking at into the book. Take a look in the book, right? You'll have there a breakdown of what are the 4 steps to get into the metaverse. What is the economy of a metaverse, right? How can you assess actually an economy, and what's the importance of the metaverse, right? We also dive in our book in things like what is the target audience in these metaverses, right? Who are the players, right? And Dirk, you alluded, obviously, based on the experiences and on facts on Uplands, how you keep up a sustainable economy, right? So, I mean, in 3 minutes, there is not enough time to talk it, but feel free to check out the book. What do you think was a highlight of the book in your point of view, Dirk? We have 40 seconds left.
I'm an economist. I, of course, like very much the economy section, right? What it means really
Right.
to build a stable economy. What we're doing with the metaverse, we're building some kind of nation states, really separate entities, separate ecosystems, somehow, which will eventually blur with the real world, but which will for sure impact, the way we operate, the way we live going forward.
Yeah, very intriguing. Well, given the time, I'll leave you with the 3 outlooks of mine that I finalize in the book. Number one, the entire educational system is shifting into the metaverse, and the reason why is because we have immersive worlds that are way more rewarding. Number two, we're going to have more workforces in the metaverse than in real life over the next 10 years. And as a matter of fact, and the consequence of that will be that we have more digital unique assets that are going to commercialize and in the surroundings in the metaverses and decentralized application than we'll have in the real world, right? And with that, I would like to pass over to Linda. Great to catch up, Dirk, as always.
Yep. See you in the metaverse.